Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei Extras. Today we're going to be talking about Block Wars and MCC a little bit, as a lot of things have been said over the past months by people from the MCC community and people from the Block Wars community, and I wanted to address some of the, comments that have been made. But first, I'd like to give a quick shout out to my friend Zam. He's been nominated for the Streamer Awards, which is huge. As a rising star. So I will put the link to vote in the description, please. It's question 16. Please fill out the form. It is very quick. Takes like a minute. You open it, scroll down to question 16, click Zam, submit. You don't have to vote for anyone else. You could vote for like Small Ant for Minecrafter, or like Tubbo, or the other candidates. But yes, please vote for Zam. He deserves it, and it would be really cool to see him win an award for this huge event. So next up, I wanted to talk a bit about some of the things that have been said about Block Wars in relation to MCC. Things like, oh, Block Wars is stealing from MCC, copying MCC, this and this and that. I've written down 4 questions. Sorry for the flashbang. I've written down 4 statements, and I'll be addressing all of them accordingly to what I believe. So first off, Block Wars is copying MCC. Now, this is false in the sense of us trying to copy MCC. We're actually actively trying to avoid doing what MCC does to prevent people from saying this. Block Wars is a standalone event. Yes, MCC is around. Yes, we're aware that MCC is the most popular event. Yes, everybody on the team knows that MCC is more likely to be seen as a better event. That is totally okay. But our games, we try to make a game to be a good game. We take a look at MCC sometimes to see if there's similarities, and we try to work around it. Obviously, we have some games that are very similar. Namely, for example, Extraction is very obviously in the battle box format, in quotations, which, yes, it's a team versus team round robin PvP game with a central objective. That is true. However, it's just a format that works really well. You can call it a battle box copy if you want. That's totally okay. I think that one's going to stay and stick around for a little bit. So if you want to call Block Wars an MCC copy just because some games are similar or other things, for example, obviously the team names, right? Block Wars team names are a color and then an animal name, which, yes, we are aware. MCC has that as well. We really tried our best to come up with team names that work better than the color animal format, and we couldn't figure it out. I've thought of an alternative. It'll be discussed with the team over time to see what everyone thinks about it. But it's just the color animal format just works really well. It rolls off the tongue. It makes sense. It's easy to it's pretty familiar, so it's nice. We like it. We will obviously try to see if we can come up with an alternative, but for now that is just what it is. We are not trying to copy MCC. If we were, we would have kept the color names the same. We actively try to make as much of it different. We had I think there was like we originally had like other color names that happened to be the same as like some of the non-canon events, like a Halloween name or whatever. We didn't implement those, just tried to do other ones. So yeah, obviously there's some branding. Block Wars focuses a lot on the colors, so does MCC. That's obviously, yes, both events really focus on the colors, but that's not really an argument you can make because neither event owns colors. So it's a bit silly. I know some people, very few people have mentioned that, but that's whatever. There's probably some other things. Oh yeah, obviously there's a lot of overlap in the player base. We'll look at Block Wars. You can see that all of Red has played in MCC at least once. Ant Venom has been in MCC. Jojo, Kara, Sparkles have been in MCC. Wally, we know, is on the waitlist for MCC. 5-Up's been in MCC. Booster's played in MCC. Slimesicle's been in MCC. Purpled Michael and Callum are all in MCC, so there's a lot of similarity. However, that's the Minecraft streamers. Obviously, there's a lot more, and I'll be honest, you're probably going to see at least some of them, probably, if they're interested, play in Block Wars, because we're actively going to try and get some extra people over time. But like, it's just, that's the streamers that make the most sense to be in the event. We at Block Wars do want to aim for a bit more variety. And we are, we've already accomplished a good amount of variety in the roster. We're going to strive to make it more and more interesting by throwing in people that either don't play Minecraft, don't typically play Minecraft, or maybe haven't played Minecraft in a while, or just really cool combinations of people. But you'll see that over time. So yeah, that's the first comment. Second comment, this person played in Block Wars, so they'll get an MCC. I'll combine this with the next comment as well. Block Wars and MCC plan around each other. No, we try to avoid the likely MCC dates, but for as far as I'm aware, MCC doesn't really try to work around Block Wars, because in all honesty, it hurts Block Wars way more if the dates were the same than it does MCC. It probably doesn't really hurt MCC. If anything, if MCC plans a date on top of a Block Wars day, the chances of the Block Wars event getting canceled, like not canceled like Twitter like doing something bad, but canceled as in not happening anymore, is pretty high. So yeah, there's the reason they're not on the same dates is because we tried to kind of work around it, but there's no communication really between MCC and Block Wars. So I've tried, but it wasn't really possible, especially because I asked during the break, which was when MCC didn't really have things set up. They probably do right now, but we could see if it gets set up at some point. But yeah, Block Wars and MCC are not in contact. There's not really any planning that goes on between events. Block Wars tries to avoid MCC because it's in our best interest to try and avoid being on the same day or similar to that. But yeah, that one is not true. And then this person played in Block Wars, so they get an MCC is also not true. The events aren't, like, they don't communicate. Just because, let's say, a Lifesteal member played in Block Wars doesn't mean that their chances for MCC increase. They may, if Scott were to watch a Block Wars, see one of those Lifesteal players play and be like, oh, that person seems interesting, then maybe. But for the most part, that is not the case. The other way around, also not entirely. We wouldn't invite someone for the fact that they played in MCC, because that doesn't really mean anything. We just invite people because of the people. That they happen to have been in MCC before and thus on our radar, which is what it basically means. Yeah, that's true. So, playing in Block Wars does not get you into MCC. I know some people talked about Small Ant to be an example of for that. That is not true. Or at least as far as I'm aware, that is not the case. It's not really, it doesn't really make sense for Scott to seek out players from Block Wars when realistically MCC and Block Wars are probably seen as competitors, even though on the Block Wars side, we at least want to we don't want to hurt MCC, and I'm sure, I've talked to some of the MCC staff, like the Nox crew, and it seemed like they're also cool with Block Wars being around, so I don't think either event wants to get in the other event's way. So yeah, people playing in one event doesn't mean they play in the other one. It puts, someone joining MCC puts them on the radar for us, but we, like I said, we wouldn't invite someone just because they're in MCC. And then the final one, Block Wars will never be better than MCC. Obviously, this is your opinion. If you really like MCC and don't really like Block Wars, that is totally okay. The reason I wanted to mention this one is because it's a bit early to call that. If you look at the events that have passed in the current Block Wars format, well, there's been 3 formats. One is the Series 1 format, which is way in the past. The second one is the early Series 2 format, which is before like the split happened, and like it was basically started in like June 2022, I think. That was 5 events. Those are the Origins 11 to 15. Then the current format, which is the event being split, which is what we're currently using for Block Wars, which is the big content creator one. We've technically only had 3 events, and MCC is nearing their 29th plus non-canon events. Both events are on a different spectrum, obviously. MCC is way high up. Block Wars is steadily approaching, but we're at such an early stage right now that calling things like Block Wars will never be better than MCC doesn't really make sense. It's like saying that, like, I guess this could be a comparison where your statement would be right, but let's say you put MCC as McDonald's, and there's a startup like fast food restaurant that is quickly growing because they've got a lot of people that know about McDonald's interested in their brand. That McDonald's, I don't know if it's growing, but it might be. MCC isn't really growing much anymore, which is totally okay. I mean, they're doing great, so they don't need to grow, but they're not. Block Wars is, because obviously it's new, so not a lot of people know about it yet, but more people will find out about it. So yeah, I don't know. I think calling Block Wars never better than MCC is, it's your opinion. I personally disagree because of how early it is to call that, but that's fine. Going back to this, I have some news on my health as well. I had my second MRI scan today with contrast fluid, which meant I got a needle stuck up my arm while sitting in the very tight, small scanner. The scan went okay. Nothing to comment. It went fine. My arm is a little sore because it's a pretty wide needle. It hurt a little bit as well. So yeah, I'm doing okay though. Results come in next week sometime. Whenever those come in, depending on the severity of what is and isn't happening, my final health update video will either be on my main channel if it's bad, or just here if it's not that bad. Because I would like to tell as many people as possible to make sure that as many people as possible understand what's going on. So, because you'll hear it when when the results are out. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure to vote for Prince Zam Live for Rising Star Award in the description down below. It'll be at the top. Thank you all for watching, and let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And let me know your thoughts on what you would like to see further than what we talked about today. Let me know what you think about MCC coming back. What are you expecting for MCC? I can actually probably make a video about that relatively soon as well, because I have a bit of a suspicion of what may be happening. Nothing has been leaked to me, don't worry. In case any of the Nox crew are watching, don't blame the testers if I have like correct info. It's just a guess. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye!